Good morning, class. I hope everyone's had an awesome Wednesday today, or a wonderful Wednesday. I hope everyone's starting to enjoy their day off today, stuff like that. I know we had 2 days class yesterday, and we have two more days tomorrow and Friday. But I hope everyone's enjoying this e-learning day in the middle of the week right now. So that's great. So I want to come on here and just make sure your brains are still churning right now. We can't lose progress that we've made over the past 2 days as we're talking about the unit circle and as the GSE standards that we're trying to apply what we know about the unit circle into real measurements and angles into real scenarios and stuff like that. So with all that being said, and everyone's having a great day, I need you to pull out the sheet that we have been going over the past 2 days. It's gonna look something like this. Right. Obviously it's not gonna look anything like exactly like this because this is the answer key. And obviously I have all the answers right now, but it's my job to give them to you. So as we've been looking at it, we've already gone over all the degree measures and we've already gone over all the radian measures, right? So now what I want us to shift our focus to is going over the actual cosine and sine of each radian measure and degree measure. Okay, so bear with me. I know it might look like a Tyler wrote this, but I just wrote and drew out this whole thing, okay? If you can't see that, I need you to tell me, okay? I'm not hearing anyone talk, so let's do it, all right? So let's start up in quadrant 1, right? We've already talked about all 4 quadrants, right? We got quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4, okay? So I'll also put beside them, when we're looking at this, which one's gonna be positive and negative. So quadrant 1, they're both gonna be positive. Quadrant 2, they're gonna be negative and positive. Quadrant 3, they're both gonna be negative. And then quadrant 4, they're gonna be positive and negative, okay? So the first one I wanna start out with, the first one we got is going to be cosine 1, sine 0, okay? Cosine 1, sine 0, and that's at 0. That's at 0 degrees and 0 radians, and then it's also, once we make a complete circle, it's also going to be at 360 degrees and 2 pi, okay? So the next one we got at 30 degrees and pi over 6. Make sure you're taking notes, because we're going to have an assessment over this tomorrow. Next one we have at pi over 6 and 30 degrees is the square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2, okay? So square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2, okay? Bring it a little closer. So the next one we got is at 45 degrees and the pi over 4, and it's gonna be the square root of 2 over 2 and the square root of 2 over 2, okay? And then the last one in quadrant 1 we got is pi over 3 and 60 degrees, and it's gonna be 1/2 and then the square root of 3 over 2, okay? So as we go throughout this unit, and as we finish up the unit circle and what we're trying to get over these angles, right? We finish taking up notes by tomorrow, or really by today, you're gonna realize there's a pattern, okay? There's gonna be a pattern. It's almost, I like to think of it, it's a flip, okay? It's like you're flipping a coin right here, you're flipping it up. How do you do it? This is my left hand. You're flipping it up, okay? So we're gonna flip that coin, right? So it's gonna flip, all right? So we're just gonna flip. So we're gonna keep the pi, this something pi over 3 right here. We're gonna keep the pi over 3 in the same spot. We're gonna keep the pi over 4 in the same spot. We're gonna keep the pi over 6 in the same spot. But now, since we're gaining ground, we gotta add to it, okay? So for the first one, or my bad, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. It's on me, it's on me. So our next measure after pi over 3 is pi over 2, okay? And that's gonna be at 90 degrees. It's gonna end up being 0, 1, okay? So like I said, we're gonna flip it over, right? We're gonna flip it over. So our first measure up is now going to be 2 pi over 3, okay? Or also at 120 degrees. You should already have that down. So what their sine and cosine is going to be, it's going to be negative 1 over 2 for cosine, and then square root of 3 over 2 for sine, okay? And that's for 2 pi over 3. Underneath it, oh my gosh, it's almost like it's the same thing over here, right? But now you're adding that negative to it. Now you're adding that negative because it's in quadrant 2. So it's going to be the negative square root of 2 over 2, and then the square root of 2 over 2. That's positive, okay? And then right underneath it, oh my gosh, it's like it's the same thing again. We look back over here to our flip technique, and we have the exact same style of numbers in it, but now we gotta have that negative. So it's gonna be negative square root of 3 over 2 and positive 1/2. And that's gonna be at 5 pi over 6 and 150 degrees. Okay, so now as we move underneath that, we're now gonna be at pi, or 180 degrees. And when we get to our measurements of that, it's gonna be -1 for cosine and 0 for sine. Okay, so look at this. Okay, so we flipped to the left. Now we're gonna fold down. Okay, we're gonna fold down. So imagine this folding down, or we can turn it sideways and it's gonna flip again, okay? We're gonna flip it again, all right? Watch what happens. So if we flip it again, we're gonna keep it something pi over 6 is gonna be our first one because we're flipping it, all right? We're flipping them. All right, so our first one is gonna be 7 pi over 6, 210 degrees, okay? Watch how crazy this is, okay? Watch how crazy, okay? You gotta get excited, you gotta have fun with what you're doing, okay? It's gonna be the exact same as this right here. But now, instead of having negative positive, we're now gonna have negative negative, okay? Negative negative. All right, so now it's gonna be negative square root of 3 over 2, and then negative 1/2, okay? Negative 1/2. After that, now we're gonna have 5 pi over 4, or 225 degrees. And it's gonna be negative square root of 2 over 2, and then the negative square root of 2 over 2. Oh my gosh. It's like the exact same thing as up here, okay? All right, let's go. We're gonna pick up a little speed right here. Pick up a little speed, okay? We're flipping it back over, right? So we're gonna be 240 degrees, or 4 pi over 3, okay? And now we're gonna have the same as up here, but now negative negative, negative 1/2, and then negative square root of 3 over 2, okay? Okay, it's not so bad. Shake it out. Come on. Let's shake it out. All right. All right. So we're 3/4 of the way done right here. Bear with me. We got this. All right. We're almost done. Come on. Come on. All right. So our next one is going to be the square root of 3 over 2, or 270 degrees. Wow. So look, even when you do these top and bottoms and these corners, right, you can flip those over. So when we're at the top, it was 0, 1, right? It was 0, 1. Okay, so now look what it's gonna be. We flipped it over, now it's gonna be 0, -1, because it's below the x-axis, right? It's below it, so now it's in the negative, okay? All right, so let's move on to our last thing. So what have we learned? The flip technique. So now we're gonna flip this back over. We're gonna flip this back over, okay? So now we're gonna basically have the same section right here. It's gonna start right here, okay? So we're gonna keep the something over 3. So look, now we have 5 pi over 3, or 300 degrees, which also is 1/2, or negative square root of 3 over 2, okay? Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the second one. It's 315 degrees, and it's gonna be the 7 pi over 4, which is the same thing over here, except it's 5 pi over 4, and that's negative negative, and now we're in quadrant 4, so it's positive negative, okay? So it's gonna be square root of 2 over 2, which is positive, and it's gonna be negative square root of 2 over 2, because it's negative. All right, and then our last one. So what do we think it's gonna be? We're gonna flip back over. What do we think it's gonna be? Something like this, something like this. But now we're gonna put it into quadrant 4 terms, positive and negative. So it's gonna be at 330 degrees and 11 pi over 6. It's gonna be square root of 3 over 2, and then negative 1/2. Okay, good, good. Now to round it all up, the way we started it, it's gonna be at 360 degrees and 2 pi. We're gonna have 1, 0. Just like I said, we flip it back over. Look over here, we have negative 1, 0 at 180. So we flip it back over. Now we're in the positive because we're across the y-axis to the right. Okay? See, guys, it doesn't have to be as hard as we want it to be, okay? So I'm sending out this video. You can rewatch it as many times as you want. I need you to fill out these notes, okay? Because we're gonna have an assessment tomorrow, right? It's only gonna take about 10 to 15 minutes, and we're gonna complete section 1 and section 4 of it. And then when we get to section 4, do not touch any of the cotangent, tangent, secant, or cosecant. We're only gonna be doing sine and cosine tomorrow to really start off everything. And then once we finish that assessment, we're gonna learn about sine, or we're gonna learn about cosine, secant, and cotangent. And then we'll really do more of that on Friday. But not to get a little ahead of ourselves, but we do have a test coming up next Friday, okay? We're all gonna do awesome. You're all gonna be prepared. I'm gonna let you have your notes, okay? Because you should have your notes, especially because we're about to be stepping into finals. And then finals, you have nothing to worry about, guys. If you have 5 or less absences and you have above an 80 overall grade in the class, then you do not have to worry about finals. And if you have something lower than that, we gotta talk about it, okay? Last few announcements is congratulations to our students of the week, Larry Johnson and Susie McCraney. You keep doing y'all's best. Y'all keep doing it. Or keep striving to be like them. Okay, we also have Spirit Night at Zaxby's on December 6th. So be there, go to sport. I'll probably be there. And then lastly, we have a football playoff game. They're going to be having a chance to compete to go to the semifinals, right, against Langston Hughes this weekend. So they really would love your help, and I mean I'm coaching tight ends for them, so I'd love to see y'all there. Okay, guys. Just show up, show big, and go big red. And lastly, guys, I can't wait to see y'all tomorrow. I hope y'all have an awesome day. I hope y'all get to be back doing whatever you want to do after this. But I love y'all, and I hope y'all keep having an awesome day. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye, guys.